Hello everyone, welcome to this video tutorial. In this video, we will look at how to install a graphical user interface on Ubuntu Server. Ubuntu Server is primarily designed to run without a graphical interface, and this makes it lightweight and optimized for server use. However, there are situations where a graphical user interface can simplify system management, especially for beginners unfamiliar with the command line. And this is where this lecture comes in. So in this lecture, we will walk you step by step through the process of installing a graphical user interface, or simply GUI, on Ubuntu Server. So before proceeding, ensure you have the following. So ensure you have an instance of Ubuntu Server installed, and also ensure you have a sudo user configured, and of course an active internet connection. So as you can see here, we have deployed an instance on Cherry Servers. Now Cherry Servers is a leading European cloud infrastructure provider committed to offering state-of-the-art cloud resources, including cloud VPS and bare metal servers. So the first step is to update the local package index, and to do so, simply run the command sudo apt update and hit enter. So here I'm going to authenticate with my password. Now, once the local package index has been updated, the next step is to select a preferred desktop environment. Now, Ubuntu offers various desktop environments for different needs and performance preferences, and some of the commonly used desktop environments include the GNOME desktop, which is the default desktop environment for most Ubuntu desktop instances. Then we have Xfce, which is a lightweight and resource-efficient desktop environment. We also have LXDE, which is extremely lightweight and ideal for low-spec hardware. And we also have KDE, which is a feature-rich environment that might use more resources. So those are just a few desktop environments. Now for demonstration, we are going to install xubuntu-core, which is a lightweight version of xubuntu OS. And this provides the Xfce desktop environment, which comes with essential components but lacks the most pre-installed applications such as browsers and office suites. So now we are going to install xubuntu-core. So to do so, simply run the command sudo apt install xubuntu-core and hit enter. So this provides you with a host of packages that are going to be installed. So to proceed, I'll simply type Y on the keyboard and hit enter. The installation of xubuntu-core is complete. Now the next step will be to install a display manager. Now a display manager is responsible for starting the desktop environment, and since we have installed the Xfce desktop environment, we will install the lightdm display manager. And to do so, run the command sudo apt install lightdm and hit enter. So as you can see, lightdm is already installed and is currently the newest version. So now we need to enable GUI to start automatically once the installation is complete. First of all, let's check the system's default target, and to do so, run the command sudo systemctl get default and hit enter. So as you can see, the system is already configured to start graphically. So if this is not the case, you can set the graphical target by running the command sudo systemctl set -default graphical.target, like that. Okay. So this ensures that once your system reboots, it's going to reboot into a GUI system. Okay, the next step is to reboot the system to apply the changes. So at this point, I'm going to reboot my system. So I'm going to run the command sudo reboot. So at this point, I'm going to pause the video and resume once the system has successfully rebooted. Now the system has successfully rebooted. Now the next step will be to connect to the graphical user interface. And there are two ways of going about this. You can connect to the graphical user interface via the client console on your Cherry Servers client portal. The other way is to connect remotely via the remote desktop protocol. Now we are going to go through each of these, starting with the client console. So what you need to do is to head over back to your client portal, as you can see here. So this is my server, all right? So what you need to do is to click on the console tab here. So just proceed and click connect, and a window will pop open here. So just give it a few seconds, and there you go. So all you need to do now is to provide your password, and I'm going to click login. And there you go. So as you can see now, I have successfully connected to my graphical user interface. So this is the xubuntu-core desktop environment. You can do some experimentation. So you can click here, you can explore various features that come with this desktop environment. So for example, you can right click here and select a different desktop wallpaper. So for example, I'm going to choose this one here. So I'm going to select this and click close, and there you go. So feel free to experiment and tweak a few configurations to your preference. So that is one way of accessing the graphical interface. Now let's see how to do this via the remote desktop protocol. If your goal is to connect remotely to your instance via the remote desktop protocol, then you need to install the remote desktop protocol server package. And for this case, we are going to go with xrdp package, which will allow you to remotely connect to the graphical user interface from either Linux or a Windows system. So moving forward, I'm going to switch back to my sudo user. So I'm going to install the xrdp server package, which will allow us to access the graphical user interface from an RDP client. And to do so, I'm going to run the command sudo apt install xrdp and hit enter. So this will install the xrdp server package. So I'm going to type Y to proceed, and that's done. So from the output, you can see an SSL certificate key was generated. What we need to do is to add the xrdp user to the SSL cert group. And to do so, we are going to run the command sudo add user xrdp. So we're going to add the user to the SSL cert group, and hit enter. So as you can see, we have added the user xrdp to the group SSL cert. Okay, now we need to verify that xrdp is running. And to do so, we run the command sudo systemctl status xrdp and hit enter. So as you can see here, xrdp is active and running. Now the next step, we need to configure the user session, because xrdp needs to know which desktop environment to launch when a user connects. Therefore, we need to configure the X session file. Now this works only for the root user. So here we need to switch back to the root user. So I'm going to run the command sudo su like that, and this lands me to my root account. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to create an X session file. So I'm going to use the echo command. So here I'm going to say xfce4-session, and I'm going to save this. So I'm going to use the redirection, the greater sign redirection symbol. Then I'm going to create an X session file, as you can see. Then I'm gonna hit enter. So now let's confirm this. So I'm going to use the cat command and X session. This is what we have. Now the only part remaining is now to initiate the remote connection and access our graphical user interface. So let's see how this plays out. So this is my local Ubuntu PC, and I'm going to use a remote desktop client to connect to my graphical user interface. So now I'm going to launch a popular client tool called Remina. So here I'm going to paste the public IP of my remote server. So I'm going to head back here and run the command IP address. So here I'm going to grab the public IP. So I'm going to take this and copy. Then I'm going to head over back and paste it here. Then I'm going to hit enter. So you'll get this pop-up. So for the username, provide root as the username. And for the password, you need to provide the root password as well. And once that is done, click OK. So just wait for a few seconds, and there you go. So as you can see, you land into the Xfce desktop. All right, so you can maximize this, and over here you can toggle to scaled mode. Okay, or you can also choose to select the dynamic resolution update. Okay, so this will provide a much better view, and this is your Xfce desktop environment. As you can see, we have connected remotely, and you can just look around and see what's installed. All right, so for example, you can opt to change the default wallpaper, so you can come here to desktop settings. So for example, you can select this one here, which looks a bit more elegant, and close this. This is what you have. So we have connected remotely to a graphical user instance. Now let's see how you can do this from a Windows system. If you're running Windows, you can use the built-in RDP client. So all you need to do is go and search for RDP, and here we have it. Okay, so just go ahead and click open. So once again, you need to provide the IP address of your remote instance here. So just collapse this. So here for the username, you need to provide root as the username and click connect. So the SSL certificate will be detected. So to continue connecting, simply click yes. And shortly you'll find, or you'll see this authentication pop up here. So here I'm going to provide the root password, and then I'm going to click OK. And once again, you get this beautiful Xfce interface, just like we saw earlier. All right. So this confirms that we have successfully connected to a graphical user interface. And that's it, guys, for this video lecture. In this video, we have demonstrated how to install a graphical user interface on Ubuntu Server. And to be more specific, we have demonstrated using the Xfce desktop environment, which comes included as part of xubuntu-core. In addition to this, we have also demonstrated how to access the instance remotely and also using the Cherry Server's client console. And that's it, guys, for this lecture. If you found this insightful, don't forget to leave a like and smash the subscribe button to continue receiving more of these Linux tutorials. And that's it from us. See you in the next lecture.